G'day everyone. Been a long time since I've sat on a bike and just chatted. So what have we got today? I've got this new to me 2020, I think it's a 2022 Royal Enfield Continental GT 650. I just recently bought this bike as sort of a fun little bike to run into town on, keep some K's off my BMW. So far I've done, what have we done? About 1,000 K's on it, so I feel like I've got a pretty good idea on how it rides and stuff. We've just got to turn right into this road. It can be a bit treacherous. Hopefully the car behind me's seen me turning. It's a bit dodgy turning in there sometimes. Right off the end of a passing lane turning right. I've had a couple instances where it looked like the car behind me didn't see me and I've just shot off straight ahead again just in case. But with where I'm going out to Paloma, this is kind of the most interesting way to go. So 650cc parallel twin. They've been making this for a while now. I don't know that they've changed that much about them. I mean, in New Zealand here you're paying just over 10 grand for one of these, so they're not exactly an expensive bike to buy, and they are lambs. Can't see the red blinky light. I'll just check we're on. Yeah, I think we're on. Yep, I can see the red blinky light. So yeah, they're not exactly an expensive bike, and I bought this one used, so I got a really good deal on it. Had about just over 2,000 kilometers on it when I got it, so you know, should last for a while hopefully. So things I like about the bike, I reckon it looks awesome. It's a very cool looking machine. I like the noise, makes awesome noise, this thing. Sounds like a vintage bike. I suppose that's because everything about it is designed exactly like a vintage bike. Goes around corners pretty good. I like hanging off it, even though I'm not really going fast enough to need to. I just like sort of getting down. We went around that at like 110, so you hardly need to hang off it, but it just adds to the whole experience, makes you sort of feel like you're going faster than you actually are. But yeah, it's a real giggle, this thing. It certainly feels quite torquey for a lamb's bike. I mean, both my lamb's bikes I had were 250s, so I mean, with this being a 650, it should be a lot torquier, even if it doesn't make a, you know, that much more horsepower. It's about 47 horsepower I think they rate these things at. We'll slow down here in case there's someone not stopping at the giveaway. This section of road's real cool. Tyres aren't super warm, so good fun. At no point there did I break the speed limit, and it was still heaps of fun. Got lots more powerful bikes. Looks gravelly, I don't think it is though. Take it easy just in case. But yeah, you can really wind this thing on and not have to worry too much about breaking the speed limit, which is quite cool. The standard front brakes were pretty average when I got it, so I'll put some new sintered pads in the front and the back, and the initial bite is much better. Still, you know, could improve it with like a master cylinder or something like that, but for the speed that I'm going to be doing on this thing, the brakes are now sufficient. I think comes with steel braided lines, which is pretty cool, and it's all ABS as well. So yeah, the brakes are good. The real area where it sort of lets itself down is the suspension. I mean, it's adequate if you're just commuting on it, riding around, doing a bit of, I don't know if you'd choose this for touring, but you know, if you're doing a bit of touring on it, it's adequate. It'll get the job done. You can still ride it pretty quick. It's just when you go around the corner and you get some bumps mid-corner, the front end does bounce around a lot. So I think we'll upgrade that. YSS have a kit that goes straight into these, so I've been speaking to Leroy at Dark Art about that. He's going to sort that out for me. One thing that made a big difference was the new tyres. So I've got Bridgestone, I think they're called BT46s from memory. So they made a huge difference to how this thing rides, because the factory tyres that were on there, I can't even remember what they were called, as Happy Fun Times or something. The front tyre, the profile was very flat, meaning that it's actually not rounded much, and the rear tyre, I think the previous owner must have just done highway miles, and it was like falling off the edge of a cliff when you went around a corner. It was quite horrible. So with the new tyres, that made a huge difference. So yeah, they are much better. And once we do the suspension, I think, in all honesty, it's going to be really fun and quite a capable machine. It's got plenty of ground clearance, so I don't see why you can't take it to a track day. You know, once you got the suspension, tyres and brakes upgraded enough, I don't see why not. We'll give it a nudge, see what happens. There's 100. So look, it's probably still faster than most cars, but it's not fast, not for a bike. You know, some bikes you get, they'll do 150 in first gear before you're even changing. This is not one of those bikes, but it's heaps of fun. It's got a lot of character, it's quite charming, and people actually take quite an interest in them. I'm sort of surprised. I've got a basically mint 999 S2 Caddy 05 model, real trick looking bike, and I'd say this gets more attention, to be honest, you know, out of everything I've got, and probably most of the stuff I've owned. I did have a second gen VMAX that used to get a bit of attention, but this thing, people just like it. I think it's just because it's a classic looking bike. It looks a lot older than what it actually is, and people are just interested in it. The cool thing is you can ride a bike that looks old. Make sure this useless bastard doesn't try and kill me. The cool thing is you can own a new bike that looks old, and people will come up to you and they'll go, oh, how long did it take you to restore that, you know? And what are you doing? My God. Yeah, you can own a classic, you can own a modern bike, and people sort of think you're a bit of a hero, you know. You modified a old bike and kept it going, and in reality you just bought a cheap bike from India. I mean, I think that's a 55 or a 65, that corner, and we just quite comfortably went round at 100 to 110 on the exit. You know, it's adequate. It's adequate, but it's not gonna blow your world away. So yeah, about 47 odd horsepower, something like that. Once you do the tyres, chuck some new pads in it, it's a ton of fun as is. And if you're not going to really be trying to push the limits too hard, the factory suspension is sufficient. But if you really want to push this thing, I'd say that'd be your next weakest link. The cool thing is they actually do cam kits and all sorts of things for this. I could have gone, never mind. They do cam kits and all sorts, big bore kits and all that sort of stuff. We're not going to bother with that, I don't think. Maybe a cam one day. It's just fun being able to thrash the thing and not be breaking any speed limits, because I don't know about you, but I don't have many demerits left on my license, so I got to be a bit careful. Still got all the little spiky bits on the tyres, need to get rid of those. 50, that looks like a straight ahead part. Here we go. Heaps of fun. Heaps of fun. And they look really cool, these things. They I think they look really cool. I actually prefer the look of these to the look of the Triumph. These do look a little bit more classic. I mean, they've got the carburetor sort of bodies with fuel injection and stuff inside them, so just adding to that classic look. They're really fun. Really fun. Lots of people have a pretty low opinion of these bikes, but you know, you just got to take that with a grain of salt, because most of them have never even ridden one, and would never ride one, which is you know, why would you limit yourself to one or two brands of motorcycle just because that's what everyone else likes? I don't get it. But anyway, that's other people, not me. I don't care. I think every motorbike can be fun, ridden groms and all sorts of stuff. If it's fun and it has two wheels, I'll give it a go, you know. It doesn't mean I'll like everything, but I'll at least give it a go. And then if I don't like it, I'll just say, oh, it wasn't for me. You know, if you like it, that's cool. Have an awesome time. I'm in first. I'm in first. Don't have a gear indicator. The clutch does engage right near the end of the lever. I'd like to adjust that if that's possible. It's a bit strange having it all the way out before you're actually disengaging, or sorry, engaging the clutch. The front brakes actually do feel a lot better with the new pads in them. I'd say that they're actually fine. There's no real need to change those. The factory pads did leave a little bit to be desired, but I mean the front brakes are Brembo. The rotor is a Brembo rotor, and the caliper is the cheaper offshoot of Brembo. They're called Bybre, B-Y-B-R-E, which stands for by Brembo apparently. So, you know, all the hardware's actually good. It should be fine. It's just whatever I'll let them go. Whatever stock pad you put in there, or they put in there, just obviously doesn't bite very hard. It's probably made more for longevity. But doesn't it sound cool? It sounds real cool. It's just a giggle. It's real fun to ride. Just put some cheap generic mufflers on the back of it. I think they got them from White's, but I found them on AliExpress and stuff, so yeah, there's nothing real flash about it. It's just a factory bike with the mufflers on. The previous owner put this little windscreen on it. I can't actually speak to how much difference that's made, only because I've never ridden it without it, so I don't know how much difference that's actually made, but it looks quite good, and it protects the clocks and stuff from the weather, so I'm going to leave it there. He's put the bar ends on, which I do like. The factory mirrors pretty much everything that mounts off here. All you can really see is your elbow. So the bar ends are quite nice. I do like to have my hand hang off the edge of the bar sometimes, so they do sort of affect that, but you know, you can ride it like a bicycle, I suppose. But no, they're very good for visibility, and they're a nice big mirror, and the glass is actually really nice as well. They need a clean, but some of them, they have like a blue tinted glass, and it gives you a strange sort of viewing perspective. But these are really nice. I don't know if they're genuine Royal Enfield, but they are nice. I do like them. What else is different? Oh, I've got the different seat cowl on there. So it's the one with the little hump on the back of it. We'll just pull over and have a little walk around today. Why not? Keep it running. Neutral's nice and easy to find. No worries with that. I like the retro fuel cap. Look, that looks good as well. And there she is. The Mr. Clean colourway with the chrome tank. Looks pretty cool. I like it. Previous owner put the black number plate on it, which I think looks really nice as well. Makes it look a bit more retro too. The new ones have actually got black cases and blacked out engine with mag wheels. I don't know, both look good, but I just prefer this. Sounds cool. He's put the metal filler cap thing on there as well for the oil, and that's the hub in the seat. So the factory seat actually comes right back to here. There is a kit you can get that gets rid of the rear mudguard in this light unit, and you can cut this down and bring it all back to there, but look, I don't really care about that. That doesn't worry me at all. Needs a bit of a clean though, sorry. Oh, the belly pan's on it too. I'm not sure if that's actually factory or not, but yeah, there's a little belly pan down there, a little guard on the radiator, oil cooler I should say. Interestingly, this one says it's a touring seat, so random. Yeah, she's very cool. It's got some more scrubbing in to do on those tyres. Get right to the edge on those. Hopefully we'll have enough of a chance to do that today. Oh, that's deep gravel. Yeah, good fun. The position's actually not that bad either. I have, you know, the bars are quite, well, they're not that low. I don't know, maybe I'm just used to sport bikes now and this just seems quite comfy, but the bars are a bit low and the pegs are a bit high. I think the Interceptor has got the more traditional sit up and beg style. I'm not sure why I keep yawning so much today, sorry guys, obviously need to go to bed earlier. The Interceptor's got the the handlebar clamp on the top riser here. with the big flat bar, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think the foot pegs are actually in a more standard position, like the traditional sit-up and beg position that like the Triumph Bonnevilles and things like that have. But, it's very cool. I love the look of it. I love the noise it makes. You know, it does have a lot of character to it, you know, and I know that gets overused a lot, but when you ride I don't know, say a Japanese inline 4, you know, everything just works really well and everything's quite good and it's hard to find anything wrong with it. It sort of seems a little bit less eventful in a way, and I suppose that's what character comes down to, it is flaws, because you know, people have flaws and in their personality, and whoo-hee, there's a jump. That was not intentional. I suppose, you know, the more flaws a bike has, the more character it has, I suppose. There must be some sort of I think we're going left, here we are. There must be some sort of a relevance there. I mean, my Ducati's got lots of character and that thing's horrible to ride in certain conditions, like round town and things like that. It's awful, but out on the open road it is absolutely glorious. It is unreal how good that thing is. And this thing is really cool to ride around town. Like, if you needed a little city bike, then this thing is a huge giggle. And no speed limit is being broken. How great is that? It really is cool. If you haven't ridden one, go ride one. If you can find one that's at least got some pipes on it, and just bear in mind that the factory tyres suck. You know, if you get a chance to ride something like this with the pipes on it and some decent tyres on it, go take it for a ride. It is a giggle. It is fun as. You know, if you've got an open mind, then you'll really enjoy yourself. You'll be quite surprised. You can really see why these things have taken off worldwide, why they're doing so well. I mean, I don't know exact figures, but it was like they went from selling, you know, 50,000 bikes a year to like 1 million bikes a year, because these have got a proper chassis. Again, forgive me for my factual accuracy on this one, because I am new to this, right? That looked a bit slippery there, didn't it? I am quite new to this Royal Enfield world, but apparently they got a new, younger managing director or CEO, and what he did is he actually bought out a factory in England that's known for making tubular chassis. Yeah, baby! That was 100 round to 55. 45. What do we got here? Probably some bumps and shit. Yeah, it's the only downside is when you got a whole heap of bumps in the corner, it does sort of give you the feeling of the front wheel walking away from you a little bit. So it's a little bit dodgy in that respect, but you just can't full send it without knowing what the surface is going to be like. You know, on a completely smooth surface, it's fine, no worries, full send. Bumpy surface, maybe not so much, but you can still go pretty quick. I mean, most Harleys would struggle to go around a corner like that at that speed, only because they don't have the ground clearance.
Gavin,
stand by. You can see why they have a race series for these things overseas. Like, I think once I do that suspension, this thing is going to be an absolute riot. You don't need heaps of power to have fun, but you do kind of need a level of confidence in your machine. And it's pretty good, but it's not quite as good as I'd like it on the suspension front just yet. The back end actually feels okay. I've got the preload cranked all the way up on that. It's really the front end. The front end is the weakest link here. So goodbye. I bet you once I do the front end, I'm going to say, oh, the rear end feels terrible now. It's usually what happens. Quite gravelly, I think. Let me feel. Yep, very gravelly. Oh, stink! Man, people should really sweep the roads. Look at this crap. There's no frickin' roadwork signs up here at all. This is death. I don't know how councils let them get away with it. You know, even when you're going slow, like I'm not breaking the speed limit in any way. But you know, even on a sport bike, you know, this would be quite slow. On a sport bike I'm actually going quite slow. You hit a patch of that gravel, especially when there's no signs out, you're gone burgers. This thing has a slipper clutch as well apparently. I never locked up the rear wheels, so it must do. But yeah, that's quite cool. It's quite cool that they actually put the effort into doing that sort of stuff on a small bike like this. You know, they realise there's learners who are, you know, probably going to be, a lot of people will probably have this as their first bike. And what a cool first bike this would be. In some ways it'd actually be disappointing going to your next bike, because this is cooler than most bikes, in my opinion. I think this is real cool. I've always sort of been interested in them, but I suppose I'm guilty of writing them off as sort of, you know, but that's sort of cheap and nasty. But you know, and there definitely is areas that could be improved, but I mean, they seem to have cheaped out on the stuff that doesn't really matter that much. I mean, apart from the front suspension, but you know, things like the switch controls and stuff like that, all that is stuff that, you know, it's not really going to change the experience of riding the board. That was a bit tighter than I remember it being. Yeah, a bit of gravel, it's not too bad. That's just awesome. It just feels like you're wringing its neck, getting every last little bit of performance out of it. But you're not even going that fast, it's great. I rode a mate of mine's 250 up over the saddle a little while ago, and well, it was a couple of years ago actually. Oh man, it just looks like it could be gravelly. So annoying. And I had the same experience on that. I had an absolute ball on it. I was on a street triple at the time, so you know, had a lot more power than a 250, and I had such a good time just wringing that thing's neck. Curious. So anyway, team, thank you very much for coming along on this little ride today. I had a ball. It's been good, hasn't it? Been heaps of fun. Anyway guys, we'll see you on the next one. I'm currently editing a big South Island trip with myself and 4 other friends. We embarked on a huge trip down south and had an absolute ball, but I've got so much footage to go through, it's insane. So stick around, look out for a notification for that. I think there's going to be some real cool sort of moments in that one. Yeah, lots of gravel there. There's going to be some real cool moments in that one. So yeah, thank you for your time. Like and subscribe for more motorcycle content, and have a good one. Stay safe. Hooroo!